I'm excited to introduce our new program, The Way. My goal is to help people draw into a closer personal relationship with Jesus. And the best way to do that is to become his disciple. So what is a disciple? There's a Jewish saying that goes something like this: may you follow so closely that you're covered in the dust of your rabbi. So that's our goal, is to come so close and to understand Jesus so intimately, just like the disciples did back when he walked the earth, that they ate and drank and walked and cried and laughed with him and knew him so intimately that they started living their lives like he did. And that's what we want to do. And whatever our state of life is now, we need to live it like Jesus lived it, like he would if he was in our place. So I want to start tonight's segment by giving you my conversion story. If you call it a conversion story, I guess it's the closest I have, since I was actually a cradle Catholic that was raised by devout parents and always believed. They taught me very authentically and lived their lives as Catholics, believing in the faith, following the teachings of the church, observing the sacraments, and I grew up, and it was credible to me, and I believed I had faith. So I lived my life for decades going through the motions and appreciating the teachings of the church and what Christ has done for us and everything that God, our Creator, has given us. But in 2010, I started to realize I wanted more. I wanted a greater understanding than what I had learned when I was in my final years at CCD, when I was a teenager, and I hadn't done anything more. So I decided to take a scripture study class, and I knew I would make time for it. About a year and a half later, I had a very ordinary day turn into an extraordinary one. In the middle of the day, our insurance agent came over, and he explained some paperwork that we needed to go over. They started talking about the fact that it doesn't matter so much what we know, it's who we know. That night, I went to the closing mass for our scripture study. And I sat right in the front. I was in the third row and had a clear view of the altar. So I sat there, and as the gospel was being read, this is what I heard. This is from the Last Supper Discourses, John chapter 14. Jesus said to him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. If you know me, then you will also know my Father. From now on, you do know him and have seen him. Philip said to him, Master, show us the Father, and that will be enough for us. Jesus said to him, Have I been with you for so long a time, and you still do not know me, Philip? Whoever has seen me has seen the Father. How can you say, Show us the Father? Do you not believe that I am in the Father, and the Father is in me? The words that I speak to you, I do not speak on my own. The Father who dwells in me is doing his works. So I was listening to those words and I was thinking, no, they keep using the word no. I'm thinking that's a funny coincidence after that discussion we had this afternoon. So the Mass continues, and I go up and I receive communion, and that time I receive both the body and the blood of Christ. I go back to my seat and I look up at the altar. And this is after Easter, so we have the statue of the risen Christ. And I looked up at that statue with the body and blood of Christ inside me. And I put out my hands and I said to God, I want to do what you want me to do. Show me, tell me what you want from me, and that's what I want to do. I want to serve you and do the work you want me to do. And he spoke to me in my heart as clearly as if he had whispered it in my ear. He told me that it doesn't matter what I know, it's who I know. And I know him. I became all giddy. And anyone that knows me knows I'm not the giddy type. But I was so excited. Not only that he had spoken to me, he answered my prayer. I had been asking all along to know him in my heart. And he told me I already did. All along I had known him. That changed everything. So each week in this segment, I'm going to be giving us a message, a scripture, and then a call to action. It's Monday. So I'd like you to read the scripture, John chapter 14, verses 1 to 13, and read it slowly, and read it more than once, every day if you can, and try to think about what God might be saying to you in those words. Then your call to action is to pray and ask God for you to know Him in your heart, not just in your head. I'll be back again next week with another message. In the meantime, I'll be praying for you, and I ask you to also pray for me, and to really help us to draw more of us into being close relationships with Jesus, and that we ultimately will be covered in His dust.